After many discussions with commissioners, particularly Commissioners Fritchie and Reyes, we've been able to come to an agreement on a proposed firearms and ammunition tax. We're here today to announce the creation of a $2 million violence prevention fund to combat gun violence in our communities. We will eliminate the ammunition tax, but keep the $25 tax on firearm purchases to help fund the county's violence prevention efforts. Our plans are the result of intense discussions and negotiations over the past several days. The individuals and organizations standing up with us today know how critical it is that we do all that we can to reduce the violence in our communities, to keep illegal guns off the street, and deter criminal behavior whenever possible. The violence prevention money will provide needed resources to organizations on the front lines that deal with the impact of violence in our communities on a daily basis. The account will be overseen by an advisory board that will administer grants to nonprofits with a track record of effective violence prevention and community outreach. The advisory committee will also study existing gun court models with the intention of presenting a recommendation for implementation no later than July 1st. Furthermore, the violence prevention money will focus on strategies for cracking down on illegal gun purchases in the county, particularly straw purchasers who provide weapons to those who use them for criminal activity. Let me be clear. There are responsible gun owners in Cook County who use firearms for either protection or recreation. However, the social and economic cost of the criminal and irresponsible use is very high. As a result, Cook County residents are paying for the negative impact of a product that only a small portion of our population uses. We will continue to review the ammunition tax over the course of the next year. One of the issues with the ammunition tax is that sellers are not required to track ammunition purchases. With guns, we know that 29% of the guns used in crimes in Chicago were purchased legally in suburban Cook County. I'm grateful to Commissioners Suffredin, Fritchie, and Reyes in particular for their long-standing commitment to violence reduction. Over the last few days, we have announced modifications to our budget recommendation and to our budget office, and our budget office has been working diligently to identify the resources to pay for these adjustments. Again, I can't praise the commissioners here today enough for their help in identifying how to set aside specific money, where to identify additional savings, and for their overall willingness to engage in this process and ensure that our efforts will be productive and viable. I want to acknowledge in particular Commissioner Garcia, who is our floor leader in the body and who's, I know, worked very hard to muster support for this measure.
When I had announced some ideas last week, I was optimistic because at the end of the day, I thought that the combination of common ground and common sense and a common commitment to reducing gun violence would lead us to a mutually agreeable solution at the end of the day. But when you go into a negotiation and you wind up getting more than you ever asked for, that's not a compromise, it's a step forward. This is a step forward and an improvement that would not have happened without the leadership of President Preckwinkle, without the assistance of Commissioners Reyes, Suffredin, Garcia, and a number of others, to really go and make a difference in Cook County. When you look at the toll of lives that we're talking about and the moral and economic impact, we lose as many people to gun violence in a month in Chicago as we've lost in Hurricane Sandy on the East Coast. But you don't see the international attention, the international outcry and outpouring of support that you see there, and they deserve it. Let's not underestimate the scope of that tragedy. But we have a tragedy that's going on here, and we need to take steps. It's not about political posturing. It's about substantive programs that are going to make a difference in the community. And let me be clear, most of these kids that have been shot down, they don't live in my district. But they are all our kids. They are our moral responsibility, our economic responsibility. We are in this together. This is the single largest undertaking by Cook County government towards directly reducing gun violence that has ever been undertaken. We have a county board president that was an alderman that understood what the city faces. She understands what's going on in suburban Cook County, and she understands, again, that it is not about cracking down and making new laws going after law-abiding citizens. It's about more effectively prosecuting the bad guys. Let's keep the illegal purchases of guns from happening. Let's make sure that we have programs in place to reduce gun violence in the community at ground zero with community leaders that know how to make a difference. And let's make sure that we can implement and make the president's idea of a gun court a reality so that we can more efficiently and more effectively and more quickly prosecute gun offenders and put them behind bars. Is this going to solve the problem? No. Is it a dramatic step forward towards reducing the problem? It absolutely is. I look forward to having the support of our other commissioners. I know we have the support of the families and people around Cook County because we are going to do the right thing. This is what happens when you work together. I've got to tell you that on the 2 years I've been on the county board, this is probably the proudest day I've had to be a Cook County commissioner, and I think that this is a day that the people of Cook County can be very proud of the Cook County government that they have. Thank you.
I am pleased to stand here with my colleagues, with President Preckwinkle, with Commissioner Garcia, with Commissioner Fritchie, who basically was the architect of the components of this amendment. I think it's forward-thinking, it's out of the box, it's proactive. The reality is one of the main components is that we're no longer going to tax active law enforcement personnel, the very professionals that are out there day to day at the local level, the county level, the state level, and the federal level, dealing with the weapons issue that is so prevalent not only in the county but throughout this country. It is very critical that we are forward-thinking. The gun court is going to be an asset to this amendment. I've spoken to many police officers, and time they have told me that they're arresting habitual professional criminals that are not getting their due when it comes to weapons charges. So I'm looking forward to the gun court. I'm looking forward to collaborating with the folks that are here that are representing social service agencies that have a proven track record. Because the reality is we have to implement ideas and strategies that will stop individuals from picking up a weapon if they are not lawfully engaged in a professional activity to do so. So thank you very much.
My name is Father Brendan Curran, pastor of St. Pius V Church near West Side, Pilsen neighborhood. I am proud and honored by Cook County Board, President Preckwinkle, for stepping forward and naming a critical issue that's breaking up our families and our communities, especially remembering our faith community of building community itself. It is not only just a moral sense of responsibility of continuing to weave the fabric of family unity, but also it hits close to my heart. One of our parishioners, a member of our choir at St. Pius V's son, was going to Lucky's Barbershop on September 29th to close up shop for the night when a white four-door pickup truck came around the corner at 18th and Morgan on the near west side and opened fire on him, approaching him and attempting to kill him. He had to pull out his cell phone. He called 911. Those perpetrators injured him. The 4 bullets struck his body. 4 of his major organs were greatly distressed. They had to remove his liver, 1 of his kidneys. He lost a small intestine. 4 major organs were greatly injured through this shooting. He has been in intensive care unit of Cook County Hospital for over 30 days. He has had almost 20 surgeries in order to save his life. You and I know that if that happened to our family and that were our son, we would never be able to afford the expense of that hospital bill. And the hospital bills keep mounting. We think that a simple tax, and I say that a simple tax, like remembering the ability to tax firearms, which are causing this kind of violence to our families, are an important step in order to restore our family unity, and remembering one important sense of how do we pay for this. We may not say that it is our neighborhood. We may not say that it's our family. We may say that our kids are not gangbangers, but the fact is that we all live in the county. and we all suffer the consequences collectively. And unless we all get together to make a common solution, these kind of acts of violence will continue to destroy us. I'm proud of the Cook County Board and President Preckwinkle for reminding us of this important light of hope for us, of remembering to bring back the healing to our families, to our streets, and in order to pay for it as well. Thank you.
Father Brendan, thank you for your support today and for your leadership on immigrant rights issues. Just to follow up on what Father Brendan said, 670 individuals were brought to our hospital last year with gunshot wounds. We treated them at an average cost of $52,000. And young men, like the member of your congregation that you referred to, we're going to invest considerably more in his care. And frankly, that kind of care is unavailable in our not-for-profit or for-profit hospitals. But we're going to take care of him, and his family will know that they will not be bankrupt as a result of the care that's provided for him, as a result of our efforts to save his life.